am doing my routine as usual, so that's what we got to do. Okay, let's go ahead and get rolling. First, I'm going to show you how I clean my water. I think I've shown you guys quite a few times, but then there's people who haven't seen it. And not only that, showing you how to do a routine. Okay, so this is going to clean your water to the highest degree. My carbon distiller. Putting my water in there. I'm actually putting RO water. Sometimes I used to just put normal carbon filtered water, and then sometimes you can just put tap water. Now, as far as harvesting the water that I made last night, now you guys did miss something this morning because I tried it yesterday, but I already drank my hydrogen water. But I'm making more anyway for the smoothie. And so this is the clean water I made last night. I leave the carbon distiller on at night because, well, for one, it's been kind of hot lately. And it does get hot, so it's nice to just leave it on at night, wake up to a fresh gallon. In the cold weather, it's nice. Hot weather, not so nice. I might literally have to move this thing to, I don't know, the garage or some other room. That's the only downside of it. Well, actually, it's not really a downside because if the weather's cold, you like it. When the weather's hot, you don't like it. So it just depends on what the weather's doing. But clean water's clean water, and I don't mean just like normal filtered water. I'm talking like extremely top of the line, best water you could ever have. Then I add minerals, of course, but just because it removes everything. But you know what? A lot of people don't realize you get the majority of your minerals from food, actually, not as much from water. So I just put a little tiny bit, almost like a little Ayurvedic style, and that will go back in there. And now the carbon distiller's full. And instead of moving the camera so you guys can see that, I'm going to seal it up. The reason it seals, it has a really good seal. It's designed that way because when it's well sealed and under pressure like that, it helps use actually less electricity for the distillation process, which is a good thing. These things may get hot, but they don't use that much electricity. In fact, it's cheaper than buying bottled water, cheaper than buying filters. So, there you go, up and running. Let's get breakfast rolling, shall we? Good morning, good morning. It's one of those mornings. Okay, and I say make breakfast, so because, of course, that's what we're doing today. This is what I do every day, right? Breakfast. But, after following the hydrogen protocol, which was I drink 1 liter of water on an empty stomach from a very specific equipment, of course, because unfortunately, I wish all the equipment out there was good, but that's just not the world we live in. And in the world of hydrogen, unfortunately, this is my own personal opinion from all my research. Just be cautious which devices you use. That's what I would say. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just going to say I'm not very fond of the machines out there that use primarily stuff from China, but most of the stuff out there. Okay, purine powder. This stuff is because we lack nutrients in our food. There's just no way. This smoothie, what's funny about this smoothie is I had dinner yesterday and I was thinking, I've told this to people before too, that my dinner, as delicious as it was and good and everything else, I know it did not have all the nutrients I need. I make all the nutrients I need with this smoothie, which is why I have to put the purine powder in there. And when I say nutrients, I mean it's almost like a multivitamin. Your food is not just supposed to be something that you just eat, fill up your stomach, whatever. It's about nutrients, guys. You really need to be getting your nutrients and putting some raw cacao. We went over all the benefits yesterday, but probably the most impressive one is that it activates or appears to activate stem cells. It does a lot of other things, though. The list was pretty impressive. I'm putting some of that in there too. And it tastes good. But your food is all about your nutrients. And you know what? We just don't get enough. Just can't get enough. We just can't get enough nutrients from our food. And today we're going to put a special ingredient because I sliced up a melon the other day, and there was a bunch of little leftover parts, so we're going to throw that in there today. That's what we do. You know, today, this is actually looking pretty clean, this greens. They're pre-washed. Normally I wash them again, but today, today, I think I'm going to skip that because they look pretty good, and I'm also in a hurry. So, these are super greens. I got to say, I'm really fond of super greens. They got arugula, spinach. Well, let's see, what else does it have here? It's all on the label. Baby greens, reds or green Swiss chard, tatsoi. That's probably a good amount. Normally I would put probably more, but it also depends. And I'm using this person's suggestion. They keep telling me, put that paper towel on there and so keep it fresh. Okay, well, I'm going to try that out. And there's my hydrogen again. Okay, so we're going to put some of these melon chunks that were left over. And if you want, we can look up the benefits of melon. But honestly, I think, I don't know if we're going to have enough time today. I probably should. I think I'm going to save some of this for tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to use all that up today. And I'm always trying to make an effort, if you guys have noticed by watching my channel, always trying to use up everything. I don't like to waste anything. I mean, there's parts of the melon that maybe weren't as delicious, but I would save them. And I need an apron. I'm going to go grab my apron. And I put the little tiny pieces that maybe weren't super delish. And I put those on the side. Today, you know what? Although today, I wish, I don't like when I'm in a rush. Here's some sun-dried raisins. But I wish I had more time today. I must say, I wish I had more time today. Yeah, well, you know, we do what we can. Do what we can do. But you know what? I'm doing this really for you guys. I'm trying to show you guys, and no matter what, you can do it. And I really want people to get better, get healthy. More than anything, I just don't want people to suffer. So this is the way that I've discovered that sometimes we can help. So, okay, now we're putting the next magic ingredient, sun-dried raisins that were soaked in hydrogen water, which means it enhances them, apparently, according to data. And you know, it makes sense. Hydrogen seems, I mean, humans, animals, even fruits, vegetables, even plants appear to like this stuff. Why? Well, guys, hydrogen is the secret of life. It literally is the source of life. And so when the body or, you know, plant, anything that wants life, you know, it really helps. But it seems to be like a good molecule. It doesn't feed bad stuff, which is very kind of interesting to me. Okay, and there's my soaked walnuts. Walnuts are anti-cancerous. All these foods are just extremely highly nutritious, anti-cancerous, anti-parasitic, all these type of things that I use. That's the reason that I use them. And so let's see here. Let's finish up these raisins here. And what I'm going to do, because I know I'll probably end up forgetting, because, you know, the day goes by and you get busy. So I'm going to make my sun-dried hydrogen raisins right now. And so the morning routine, guys, so I made the cleanest water. Obviously, I dissolved hydrogen in it. Yeah, a little bit of mineral, nothing crazy, just tiny little bit of minerals in there. And obviously, I drink that. Again, empty stomach. You know, one of the important things about the beginning of the day is to get hydrated. You literally wake up very dehydrated. And funny thing is, a lot of people will literally, first thing they'll do in the morning is have something like coffee, and that is a wrong move. You're literally just dehydrating yourself further. And this does not help with the way your body functions. It's not doing you any favors, guys. It is not doing you many favors. And you know what I'm going to tell you right now? We got hydrogen chia seeds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make more because this is running low. So let's go ahead and use up what we got here. And then we're going to make more right in front of you because sometimes people want to know how to do it. Now I'm going to put some blueberries, which I'm almost out again. Good for the vascular system, anti-cancerous, anti-parasitic, anti-angiogenic. These things are awesome. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough room in this smoothie today. It's going to be a little altered today, but we're going to do what we can. Come on, blueberries. They won't come out of the bag. They're like, we don't want to go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Hydrogen chia seeds. So what we do is you always want to fill the little jar halfway. And like that. And you can do this with clean water. And it doesn't have to be hydrogen water. It can just be clean water. It can be clean hydrogen water. Either one. Now, obviously, I think hydrogen is going to be enhancing these chia seeds. Full of minerals, full of proteins, full of fiber, full of all sorts of good stuff. Pretty inexpensive. What you're ultimately seeing here, yeah, is my routine. You know, unfortunately today, we got to rush a little bit, which sucks. Now see, I'll put 3 scoops like that, and you have to shake this thing up immediately. But I have to fill up the rest of it. If you don't fill it up right away, you will have a clumpy mess on your hands. So I'm going to fill it up all the rest of the way. And chia seeds are amazing, but boy, do they soak up the water, which is what we want. I told you, one of the secrets is water, hydration. Second secret, clean water. Third secret, if you really want to take it to the next level, now we'll see if we're going to shake it right away, is hydrogen water. That's where things get all crazy. Because hydrogen is, well, it's what saved my life, as some would say. Saved my life and has helped me in more ways that I could ever describe. And not just me, people that I care about. And that's another way of quote unquote helping me. You know, when someone or something helps the ones you love, well, you know, you kind of fall in love with it. And yes, I am falling in love with hydrogen. But, of course, I've discovered that not all hydrogen, unfortunately, is created equal as far as purity is concerned. Mostly byproduct. So that's why, just like fruits and vegetables, they're not all the same. You know, the organic ones are different. It's not just pesticides, you know. A lot of people don't realize that there's been studies on organic food versus non-organic food where they use the chemicals, and the results are dramatic. Results are literally something that nobody expected, and that's that the organic food had much higher levels of antioxidants. And what it really makes me think of is that the fruit or vegetable or the plants themselves fight. They have to be strong. And if you spray a bunch of chemicals on them to deal with all these critters that are on them, it weakens them. And I think that they get stronger when they have all the nutrients. Kind of, you know what, a lot like a human. You know, instead of putting drugs in a human or chemicals or whatever you want to call it, we would use, you know, nutrients. We would use certain herbs, anything that can enhance the body, really, actually. That's why if the body has proper levels of vitamin D, proper levels of zinc, proper levels of vitamin C, you know, all your B complexes, really, the body will run better and function better. And so that's what this smoothie is all about. This smoothie, which may not look like much, I mean, you're just like, this guy's just putting fruits and vegetables in a blender. How can this be magical? Well, let me tell you guys, I would ordinarily agree with you, except I've seen the magic. I've seen what this thing can do, seen what the clean hydrogen water can do, and well, quite frankly, it blows my mind. So, next ingredient, another super special ingredient, and that is natto. Natto is so full of protein, it's almost downright ridiculous. It's actually got almost the same amount of protein as beef. They're almost the same, except natto has so many other attributes to it that are really unique and boggles the mind of scientists. It's probably the number one superfood in all of Japan, if that tells you anything. And natto is a fermented bean. Let me tell you something about beans, guys. Lots of good fiber, but also lots of protein. In my personal opinion, you cannot even be a healthy vegetarian without beans. And, I wouldn't even say that I'm a vegetarian because I do eat, I'll have eggs once in a while, I'll have fish once in a while. I'll have some of these foods, but just not often because the body doesn't seem to handle them super good if you give it too much. Everything in life and health that I've learned is about balance. And so you want balance, but also purity and hydration. And when I say balance, you just don't want to be eating nothing but, cheeseburgers all day. Like for breakfast, people will have eggs and bacon. And then for lunch, they'll have, some turkey sandwich. Then for dinner, they'll have a steak. It's just too much. It's too much for the kidneys. It's too much for the blood. The data is extremely clear on it. Not to say that there's not good things in those foods. And by the way, look at these. Natto's getting all foamy. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is how you activate it. All the live enzymes are coming to life in this thing, and they're extremely good for you. That's called nattokinase or nattokinase naturally in this. Plus, it's also a natural blood thinner, which is also a good thing when you're working it with hydrogen, and rich in vitamin K, and shown to be not only anti-cancerous, it oxygenates cancer cells, which is not good for cancer, it's good for us. This stuff is just straight up amazing. And again, this smoothie, it's all about getting our nutrients, so that's what we're doing here. Okay, what's next? The magical beets. I do love beets. I've grown to love them even more because if you, like, some people like them cooked. And it's not that I don't like them cooked, but I wasn't a huge fan. What I would say is that I like them when they're raw because they're crunchy and they're sweet. And of course, they're really good for you. They get the body to produce nitric oxide, which is very interesting. The reason that's interesting is because nitric oxide causes the blood vessels to really open up, guys. You combine this, like I did an experiment with this. You combine this with things like, with hydrogen, first of all, there's literally research on nitric oxide and hydrogen, works amazingly well together. But I've been combining it with boron and all these nutrients. I've been helping different people who've had issues with libido. And my goodness, guys, I am not kidding you. It's working. And not just libido, also just sexual function, which apparently a lot of people have issues as they get older. And so I wanted to find something natural that works. And like I said, this is working way better than I expected because it's all about keeping the blood clean so that the blood can move around. That's why so many doctors are wanting to prescribe statins because it thins out the blood so that blood can move around. But to be quite upfront with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of, certain drugs taken all the time, like a statin. You can actually do that totally naturally. In fact, natto does that, thins that blood just like a statin. And then you get something like nitric oxide, really opens up the blood vessels. And then you get something like hydrogen. Then hydrogen moves the blood when it's all ready to roll, and you'll be absolutely shocked. I'm not going to put any beet leaves today, even though I want to, just because I don't think I have enough room in this smoothie today. And boy, does that blood get moving, and that's what you want. But when you get the blood moving, part of the secret is you want the blood to not only be moving, but carrying the nutrients, and you want carrying those nutrients to all the different parts of the body. It's really, dare I say, basic, but I don't think we think about it that way these days. We just, the way that we think sometimes about health, in my opinion, is not totally accurate. And, it's okay. Everybody thinks about things differently, but I will tell you that my methods did eventually save not only my life, but there's been other people who I know, and it works for, I would say, just about everybody. But so far as I've seen, oh, criminy. I just realized I haven't put any water in this thing. That's not good. Let's put some hydrogen water in here. If you don't put water in there as you go, it becomes a problem later. And it probably already is. So we go. Put some good, clean hydrogen water in there. If you don't have hydrogen water, You can do normal water, but the hydrogen is just about enhancing it. And let's see, I think somebody made some comments here. Let's see here. It's so confusing trying to find a good, reliable unit. One person says the good ones, the other person says unit's bad. You know, XRP, what you really have to go off of, you don't go off of people's opinions. You go off of facts. So you go off of data. And it's really not complicated once you know what you're doing. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, like when I first started my hydrogen research almost 20 years ago, it was extremely confusing. Because I had to learn about metallurgy. I had to learn about metals to learn about hydrogen. I had to learn about some machines use chemicals. A lot of people promote something called Brown's gas, but what they don't understand is that, first of all, Brown's gas is not pure hydrogen. They are not the same. And then you got to go off the data, and the data doesn't show, for example, that Brown's gas is the shiznit, that it's the best. If it was the best, well, then that's what I'd be talking about, because I know my hydrogen. Medical data and medical research, everything is showing, and what's already been approved, and almost 2,000 studies to prove it, which is a lot, by the way, has proven that pure hydrogen is the way to go. Brown's gas has other uses, but it's certainly not one for your health. The Japanese did look into it, and what they ultimately discovered is that it just wasn't that effective. It's really good for energy, though, for like an automobile or something, but not for humans. Apparently, it's got an effect on plants too, but just again, not quite pure hydrogen like the way it works for the body. So it is confusing, and I completely agree with you. And it's frustrating because misinformation that is given out there, and ultimately what I've discovered mostly is it has to do with financial. Building a proper hydrogen machine is quite expensive, especially the metal technology required. I've only seen 3 different devices that are any good in my personal opinion, and I'm talking a lot of research. So, yes, I can totally understand you. It is extremely frustrating to try and figure out what the best is, but the Japanese, I mean, a lot of people don't understand their culture. They don't understand the Japanese people, but man, they're just so next level in regards to not only research, but the way they do things. And it's really impressive. And I'm very grateful that they went above and beyond with the whole hydrogen thing. We wouldn't even know about hydrogen if it wasn't for them, actually. A lot of people don't agree with that, but that's the truth. They're the first to medically approve it. They're the ones who are doing the studies and really proving all this stuff. And it's been very impressive. And live blood analysis and everything else. Oh my goodness, what happened? Oh yes, of course. I'm like, where are the carrots? So yeah, I mean, you can always ask questions. Northern Yeti, I read somewhere that you lose up to a liter of water while you sleep. Well, see, there you go, Northern Yeti, and that's what I'm saying. And by the way, this is coming from a guy who was extremely sick, by the way. So that guy who's like, it's confusing. Yeah, it is. But this is why you don't listen to people. This is why you go off of data. And everybody seems to have these opinions that are just, they're not even correct. But some people are so convinced about their opinions, they just, no matter what no matter what facts are out there, they're just convinced about their own personal opinions. But yes, you do lose a lot of water while you sleep. It's the whole point that I'm making is that you have to hydrate in the morning. The body will not be running properly, literally all day long. And it's so sad. I have a friend, and maybe she's even watching today. And, wonderful person, does not take care of herself. And it's so sad because very, very nice person. But I noticed that a lot of people, they just don't know how to care for themselves, and they have extremely bad habits. And they don't seem, at least she totally admits it. She's like, "Look, I'm just lazy." That's what she says. She goes, "I'm just lazy." And, lazy and busy. And, and I get it. Life is tough, but you have to understand what's important. And I'll tell you one thing right now. Your health is so important. You have no idea. And maybe you do have an idea, because once you lose it, once you have a problem, then you got problems, because the suffering begins. You have no idea what to do. You go to doctors. Usually they put you on either anti-inflammatories, pain pills, and of course, then you're feeling sad because everything's rough, and then they put you on antidepressants, and none of which solve your problems, by the way. It's not like you walk out of the doctor's office feeling like $1,000,000, no pain at all your issues fixed, and you happen to be super happy because they put you on these antidepressant pills, and so you're just walking around like super happy person. But you know what? That's just not true. You end up on these pills, you end up having side effects, you're wondering why things are not working that well, and some things maybe work for some things, but then they create other issues, and it's just this vicious cycle. And yeah, okay, I'm going to start this blender up any second here, and it's going to make some noise. We're going to add some few magic ingredients in here, and this thing is full today, which is good. I'm getting my hands in there, which means I'm probably getting a little hydrogen on my hands, because we got some nice hydrogen water in there. Okay, let's see here. Sorry that it is one of these rush days. Of course, it's funny. Nobody's ever happy, right? Some people complain that I go too slow. Some people complain that the video takes too long. But you know what? You're seeing it live, guys. So this is the way it's truly done. It's not all set up like on a TV show where you have all your ingredients, throw them in there, and just blend it in 5 minutes. Okay, let's do this. Hey, we got a few magic ingredients, but let's dump this compost first. Not much in there. You know, that thing's weird. It's not sounding like it's doing a ton of blending. I mean, it's blending. Let me go check that out. It sounds like something's stuck. Sounds like something's stuck. There's no way. Is that really true? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very happy. Okay. Blend those fruits and vegetables for me. Please, okay. I love my blender. Okay, now let's grab the jars. So we're gonna put these magical smoothie in, get all our nutrients, vegetables, fruits, minerals, vitamins, all the wonderful stuff. Let's cut these with a little hydrogen water. I'm gonna let that thing blend a little bit. It sounds like, again, something's still a little stuck. I would have liked to throw 2 bananas in here today, but there's no room. Oh, we got one. There we go. Yeah, your body requires so much water, guys. It's pretty nuts how much it requires if you want it to be functioning properly. And actually, it requires a lot of hydrogen too. It requires all the minerals. It requires a lot of stuff. But you know, it's a lot like a car. The car requires a lot of different parts too. All these little bushings and little pieces of metal and plastic. A lot of liquid too. Okay, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. I get a feeling this thing is not all blended up, but we're just gonna have to try because we're running out of time today. And if it comes out chunky, then I know who to blame. Me. I only blame myself for everything that happens in my life. Hey, look at that. Pretty good. Okay, one of the most important nutrients to get in there is this guy because you're not going to get it from food, or at least very little of it, and that's ionic vitamin D3 with K2, so it absorbs good. I have lots of vitamin K in my food, and apparently it's a difficult nutrient to get, but I do have a lot of it. Every time I'm checking nutrients in the foods that I eat, I'm like, vitamin K, I'm like, wow, I thought this was hard to get. B12 and D3 are really tough though, but I definitely get enough of those. Next one, ionic boron. This is the one that's super good for muscles, ligaments, bones, brain health, and this is the one that also for sex hormones, both for men and women. Basically good for testosterone and estrogen levels, and it's been nothing but fantastic. Really amazed with how good that one's working. And we have natural boron in the raisins that I put in there too. This is ionic. Wait, no, this one is yes, ionic chlorophyll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. This one you don't totally need. It isn't your greens. I get plenty of greens, but hey, Somebody gave it to me, so I'm going to use it. And you know what? I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. This thing is so jam-packed. I got to tell you, this thing is so full of amazing nutrition. It's better than my dinner. And is that sad? I don't know, kind of. It's so amazing that I'm serious. These smoothies have more nutrients than my lunch or my dinner, or really mostly my dinner. Oh no, I did it again. Oh my gosh, did I do this again? I forgot. Guys, I forgot to put flax seeds in there. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put them in there right now, even though I shouldn't. I'm just going to put them in there, and I'm going to blend this up a little more, just because I hate that I keep forgetting that. Because I just bought them, and I'm so excited. They have a lot of anti-cancerous properties. They have a lot of interesting properties, actually. Let's go ahead and blend that up. Ooh, that tastes good. Hopefully that will grind them up in there. Hey, okay. That sounds all well grounded up. Did it? Oh, yes. Okay. Next magic. You know, I got to put this somewhere else. That's why I'm missing it, because I have it in the wrong drawer. Okay, next ingredient. More ridiculous protein, probably the most well-balanced protein of omegas, 3s and 6s known to man. And so much nutrition is like practically a multivitamin all by itself. It's ridiculous, and that's hemp hearts. Organic hemp hearts. Yes, the marijuana plant, guys. Can you believe that? Hemp. So amazing. Gosh, the nutrients in this thing. But the omegas, the protein, just redonkulous. Let's go ahead and just go to our last ingredient, shall we? That tastes different today. It's good though. I had a little smoothie left over from yesterday too, so I'm going to try to finish that. Okay, let's answer some questions. Probably not a lot, because I assume not a lot of people in here today. Okay. Like I said, unfortunately, we're on a little bit of time crunch today, guys. That's okay. See, still get it done. My priority is always hydrogen protocol and smoothie. Hydrogen smoothie. Those two things. Got to get my day going right. If I do that, I can go all day till dinner time if I need to. So, okay, let's answer some questions here. If there's any, of course. Okay. XRP says, I just got distilled water unit. I made a batch and the water still tastes funky. Well, XRP, hopefully you did not just make one batch and drink that water. And hopefully you read the instructions. And I don't know which unit you're using either, but usually you want to run a unit like 2 or 3 times before you drink the water. And so it comes out clean. XRP says, what's strange is I had water unit before and the water would taste perfectly fine with no taste at all. Yeah, you gotta give me the names. There's a YouTuber that made a video doing some tests with the hydrogen machine you're using, and he was showing that it wasn't performing as well as it claims. Yeah, I know who it is. It's actually a company. And of course, the way the guy is testing it was completely incorrect. And that really shows you the lack of knowledge. And that's the frustrating part about hydrogen in America. They're about 10 to 20 years behind on understanding how to do hydrogen properly. I mean, you got people doing things so incorrectly in America with hydrogen, it's actually plain ridiculous. If you want to see the difference between testing a unit correctly versus incorrectly, I already know which one you saw that tested it incorrectly. Go check out the official company's videos. These guys, I'm telling you, these guys are the most knowledgeable people in the whole industry, and I've been researching this for a very long time. That's why I shared the right info. Never use blue drops to measure hydrogen. They're completely inaccurate, and it's not the right equipment to measure hydrogen. The right equipment's expensive. Hydrogen is very hard to detect properly. Two, never do a bubble test to find out how much hydrogen you're getting, because a bubble test doesn't really tell you what the bubbles are in there. Plus, it's a non-pressurized system, so when you put it up against water, there's back pressure. It's completely incorrect, you know. The equipment really needed are into the thousands and even into the millions. Okay, around that, you know, one time and dump that. I don't know what you mean by that, XRP. Yeah, it's really sad for me to see what they've done with the hydrogen world. You bought a generic unit off eBay. Well, again, I recommend specific things because I know how they work. When you go outside of what I would personally do, it's hard for me to kind of help, you know. But yeah, I mean, not all distillers are the same, to be honest. They're okay, but they're not all going to be the same. There's a reason that that company did a third-party lab test. And I found that the way that they route the vapor, rather than cheap ones that just don't really route it much, you can't just say all distillers are the same. You certainly can't say all hydrogen machines are the same. You cannot say that all water filters are the same. I look for the best. And I do a lot of research to save everybody the time. Of course, my original intention was never to actually make a YouTube channel. I was doing this for myself. I'm gonna mix these smoothies up. This thing is sealed. Oof. Good. Yeah, it wasn't originally supposed to be a YouTube channel. I was just trying to obviously heal myself because I was extremely sick and basically dying. I mean, I wasn't gonna live. I was a mess. You know, one doctor gave me, well, he gave me 10 years for some of the medical conditions I had, and those they were not even the most severe. And those conditions actually ended up going away. It's pretty wild what this poor body has been through, but I definitely found a way to make it right. So anyway, yeah, if you got some generic thing off eBay, I wish I could help you, man, but I'm sorry. You know, oops, I made one batch and then dumped that. Well, I don't know if you read the directions. You might want to read the directions. I don't know what kind of unit you have, so it's very generic, you know. Look at that, we really made that smoothie fast today, water routine fast. Everything was quick today. Well, I had to move a little quick today. I got a lot of work actually today. Yesterday was a more relaxed day for me. Today, I have lots of work. So, but gosh, this is delicious. This is in the spot. XRP Junior, I was trying to save some money because it is basically just boiling water. Yes and no. It is not just boiling water, but kind of. And I understand wanting to save money. Metal technology plays a role not just in hydrogen, now way more in hydrogen though, but even in distillation. You have to use higher grades of stainless steel. The Chinese just don't. The one that I use is made in America. I wish there, look, if there was a super cheap one, I would tell you guys. It's like, I'm gonna tell you what the best is, not what the cheapest is. I don't mind getting cheap things once in a while, depending on what they are, but not for my health. And my thoughts on the Kangen unit, I made a whole video about it. In my personal opinion, well, I know the facts about it. There's the long-term research and data in regards from Japan. It's not good. And it's funny, you're talking about saving money, but now you're bringing up a device that's almost $6,000. And I gotta say, it's one of the worst devices. It's not the worst though. The worst are machines that use chemicals, like Brown's gas, they use lye. That's really pretty dumb. But not all Brown's gas units have to do that. That's just what some companies do. It's usually because it's cheap. It's not made the right way. And Kangen units offer no hydrogen gas inhalation, which is not good. They directly electrolyze the water, which is not good. And those are the two biggest issues in regards to the Kangen in a nutshell. Plus, you cannot use, you have to use their water filters, which I'm not a fan of. It also manipulates the pH of the water, which you don't want to do. Hydrogen is actually pH neutral. So let's see here. I'm looking for the video I made on this so you can go watch it. It's video 398. Go watch that one. It has all the details.
Stop, Tree.
It has all the details about that unit if you have a question about it. I specifically made that video because of all the people asking questions about it. And if it was good, I'd be happy to tell you that it is, but it's not, unfortunately. What brand distiller do I recommend? It's from a website called mypurewater.com. You can see mine right here. That's one of them. I've bought two of theirs. They're cheaper ones. I do get their cheapest ones because they're countertop units made in America. Yummy. Let's see, mypurewater.com. If you want a discount code, you can use Uprising 144K. The inexpensive unit's $600 and something. With the discount code, it's like $500 and something. And very industrial made, last a very long time. Well, yummy. This was good. Well, very good. Let's see here. Okay. Those are the brands that I recommend. Well, that's what I use. I only recommend what I use, by the way. Maybe I should rephrase that. I've used many different things, but I only recommend those that I found to actually work really good. And of course, that's what I personally use now, because I've tried many hydrogen machines. I have had other distillers. Yes, I meant equality too. Equality? I meant equality. That is a good smoothie. Sorry about smacking my gums here. Thanks for all the thumbs up, by the way, guys. That's very kind of you. I'm asking questions. I'm not going to buy it. That's fine. Honestly, it doesn't bother me one bit. People don't want to buy it. It's always, you know, one thing that doesn't bother me is people can do whatever they want. None of that bothers me, really, as far as what they put in their bodies. If they want to eat Twinkies, if they want to use Chinese distillers, whatever, I don't care. What I do care about is when people actually want results. Or when people are suffering, then that's where, you know, I hate when people spend money on something that is really maybe not going to be very good for them potentially. That's when, you know, kind of sucks. But yeah, you can just check out their website, mypurewater.com. And they're not the only good distillers, by the way, in the whole industry. There's other ones that are good too. Those are just really some of the more inexpensive, but yet high quality ones that I could find in America, from America, you know? Delicious. Okay, we're gonna seal up some smoothie today, but let's go ahead and have a little bit more before we seal it up. Wow, it's good today. I'm going to have to hurry a little bit because, you know what? Hold on a second. I think I can rinse this guy. Don't waste anything if possible. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so if you guys have any last questions while I finish the rest of my smoothie. Otherwise, I'm just showing you guys how to do the routines here. But this is all I eat for breakfast. This is my multivitamin. Let's see. And XRP says, yeah, I know that unit. Yeah, they have, well, they have more than one. I think they have like 4. But they're all of them are good. LSB says, thank you for the info on K unit. On K unit. Huh. I've owned one for over 10 years. And I've always questioned the validity of the product, which, oh, the Kangen unit. Yeah, you know, I feel really bad for people who spent the money on those things because they are way overpriced and they're not making hydrogen properly. In fact, they were never a hydrogen machine. They were making the water alkaline and they thought that that was the best way to go. They didn't even, nobody really knew about hydrogen. And the machines were inadvertently making some hydrogen. Of course, they realized that it was hydrogen that was actually giving the health results. The problem is they were doing it wrong. And when you start making the water alkaline through ionization, the Japanese discovered that what that actually appears to end up doing is disrupting your stomach acids. And if you read the science on stomach acids, you're going to realize that as you age, you make less and less. And it's very important to keep your stomach acid production up for healthy digestion, killing pathogens before they enter the GI. You want proper acid levels to break down the food so you can actually absorb nutrients properly. I mean, it really messes with your gut in the long term because it's done incorrectly. And it's really too bad. But check out that video. I think you'll find it very, very helpful. Very good. Video 398. Yep. XRP, do you believe drinking hydrogen can help reverse diabetes? So again, no medical advice or making any medical claims. All I can tell you is that my own father had type 2 and it's gone. And he did my hydrogen protocol with the clean water. I've seen numerous people. In fact, one of the interesting ones was a woman who had diabetes for so many years. I think it was like 20 or 30 years. Her doctor was so blown away by the results of the hydrogen. He just couldn't believe it. He just literally couldn't wrap his head around it. He was seeing the results. That's why he was asking her what she's doing. And when she was telling him, he's like, there's just no way. This is nuts. This can't be real. She's like, yeah, there's this guy on YouTube. He's like, there's no way there's a guy on YouTube doing this stuff. This is like worthy of a Nobel Prize because she had type 1. And I'm not saying that it made type 1 go away because that will not go away. But she was able to actually use hydrogen in such a way where she literally didn't even need to use insulin. And it was blowing his mind, but she did have to use it a specific way. Okay. Let's see here. XRP, that equality statement was misspelled. Sorry. No worries. XRP says, I'm referring to the Kangen unit that I'm not going to purchase. That's fine. I wouldn't purchase it either. I have one, unfortunately. Like I said, I tried a lot of things, a lot of devices, a lot of things that didn't work. That's why that was the whole purpose for my videos. Originally, it was just going to be a channel to review different products and the ones that I used to help heal myself. And then maybe review some other products while I'm at it. So that way people can save time and money. LSB says, and sending in the unit to get cleaned yearly isn't cheap either. Grateful for your info. Oh, it's ridiculous, LSB. The Kangen unit, the whole thing is just ridiculous. And I know that it became a really big thing, most likely because it's a, what do they call it, a pyramid scheme or whatever they call those things. And that's why I think it became so popular. and it does some interesting, cool stuff. But this is the thing about water. You can do a lot of cool, interesting stuff with water. It doesn't mean that's the best way to use it to improve your health. And I've seen that a lot. And unfortunately, the Kangen is just, yeah, it's not the right way. And people still argue about it, especially people with, they're very, there's either people with a lot of vested interest in it, or there's people who just don't understand. And I'm a guy of facts, so, not so much opinions. So I use facts and data to have created my protocols, which is what I did. And when I started seeing them work the way they have, it's just, again, it's unbelievable. I still can't, it's still hard to believe. There's some people I really want that I'm working with right now. And I mean, guys, if some of these protocols work for some of these people, I mean, the people and what they're going through, doctors have completely given up on these people. And I'm not giving up, but at the same time, it's not going to be an easy road. I mean, one of the people is almost 100 years old, so, but they want to try, so we're going to try. I don't think there's anything bad about fighting for life. And if we can see that things work for them, then we can know that hopefully they'll work for others who are not in as bad of a situation. But yeah. Okay, so we obviously have a small group here. Yeah, the Kangen units, sending them in is just so ridiculous. The Hydrofix that the Japanese developed, they are the #1 hydrogen company in Japan, actually. And they're literally the #1 hydrogen company in the world. They have more technology than anybody. They really do everything the best. And they're the only company that actually lab tests and certifies each and every single machine. These guys are bonkers over hydrogen. I love people who are bonkers over hydrogen and water and food, because they end up wanting to do a really good job. And that's what I appreciate. And the way that it makes hydrogen is just pure, just the way that it would be done medically. And they also made it easy and super cheap to maintain. I mean, I literally just maintained my device too a few days ago, and it probably cost me, I did it myself because they show you can do it yourself. It's super easy. And I think it couldn't have cost me more than 20 cents, maybe less. XRP, I have major bloating issues. My GI doctor cannot figure out what is wrong. Well, XRP, as I tell you, I'm not going to give you any medical advice or make any medical claims. But what I will tell you is I've worked with numerous people with GI issues, people with Crohn's disease, people with celiac disease, people with IBS, like irritable bowel syndrome, so many gut issues, and all those people, their issues are now gone. Somebody who is actually quite close to me, who had these issues, had the, for example, the IBS, the bloating. It's actually not that hard, but you really got to heal the gut. And hydrogen is so amazing for the gut. I mean, go do some research. Go read about molecular hydrogen for, gut health. The way it brings down the inflammation, the way it seems to help the good gut bacteria flourish while the bad gut bacteria diminish. The way that it helps fight all the free radicals. It's just amazing. It really is amazing. It's hard to believe. Even when I saw the data the first time, I was like, this can't be right. And for years I've been reading it, and it's just hard to believe that it's that amazing and that most physicians don't even know about it. But gut issues are easy. The stuff that I'm talking about with these people who have some serious problems, those ones are not so easy. So let's see here. I'm going to seal up the jar if you guys want to see how I do this. I should probably take off my hydrogen here. Okay, take the last few deep breaths of it. Let's see if you can see it over here. Let's see if we can get you the right angle. Because what I'm going to do is finish up putting the smoothie in here. And I don't have time to drink it right now. You know what, I'm going to guess you guys can't hear me. Let me grab my earpiece again. It's just a guess though. Maybe you can hear me just fine. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, multi-level marketed scheme, that's right. And you know what? They're common. And sometimes it doesn't even matter if it is a multi-level marketing, to be honest. It really doesn't matter. As long as the products are truly good, then it is what it is. It's probably just another way of marketing. However, the Kangen ones are out of control, and there's some companies that get out of control. And but if it's a great product, it's a great product. But in my opinion, it's not only not a great product. On top of it, it's super ridiculously kind of stupid expensive. It's so ridiculous. It's, like I said, way out of control. Way, way, way out of control. And I wish I did it right. And they go and redesign a machine to basically do almost the same exact thing all over again. I'm like, did you guys not learn yet? But it is what it is, guys. Water ionizers. Everybody thinks they're an expert. Unfortunately, you have to go look at the medical data, but you also have to. The difficult thing about hydrogen is you have to. I ended up having to learn about things that I didn't expect. Having to learn about metals, having to also look at the medical research, then looking at every single different way of making hydrogen. It's all very important to really understand hydrogen fully, and I've done that, and it took many years, and I did my best to simplify it, and I think I was able to achieve my goal. And as I say, the proof is in the pudding. The way that I've seen it affect not just my life, but other people's lives and medical conditions that are measurable, by the way. Not people who are just saying like, oh, this stuff's great. It made me feel great. It's like, well, I like to see some blood work, some blood glucose numbers. I don't like to just go off of opinions. I need to see that it really worked. Like blood pressure. There was a funny story about a guy who had blood pressure issues. He went to the doctor. He didn't even know. He went to the doctor. Doctor said, hey, you got high blood pressure, dude. We got to do something. He's like, I don't feel nothing. It's like, well, you may not feel anything, but I'm telling you right now, you got high blood pressure. And the guy was still like, well, don't feel nothing. And he said, look, if you don't take care of this blood pressure thing, you're going to end up having a stroke. And of course, he's absolutely correct, right? So, I apologize for this, guys. I'm going to have to run this blender to try to get all the little specks out of here. I forgot the top of it. All I did was rinse it out here real quick. And so this guy found me. This is how I know about this story. Started using the hydrogen. Some people are sensitive and they really do notice it. And I mean, you definitely can if you're observant. But this guy didn't seem to be very observant. And I remember him getting back to me, months later, and he's like, dude, I don't feel anything from this hydrogen thing. And I'm like, look, the science is clear. Just because you're not feeling something, you could be taking vitamin C or zinc and not feel anything. You're like, dude, I don't feel nothing. But he said, well, I don't feel nothing. And I said, well, it does what it does, man. Just if you want to get better, in my personal opinion, just keep following, a good protocol. And he did, but he complained. He was always like, dude, I don't feel nothing, and whatever. Just like people drinking clean water. Well, I don't feel nothing. I'll just drink tap water. And so anyway, eventually after many months, he did go back to his doctor for another checkup, and the doctor was like, whoa, your blood pressure is normal. And he was like, really? I don't feel nothing. And he was like, well, I'm just telling you, your blood pressure is normalized. This guy was hilarious. But he's not the only one. There are people like that. They're just, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing. And you know what? I understand. For one thing, like water. Water's not a drug. You're not going to drink water and be like, oh my gosh, I feel enlightened. And hydrogen's, I mean, again, if you're sensitive, you can kind of feel it. It's a very subtle thing. Just like eating healthy. When you eat healthy, you feel a little lighter, you feel a little better. It's easier to live in your own skin. I've noticed that throughout the years. But before, when I wasn't eating healthy, I thought I was feeling just fine. So I'm going to seal up this jar with this smoothie to keep it nice and fresh. And that's how I do it. I made a video on that before. Let's see, XRP. It doesn't surprise me these bodies were created to heal themselves if given the proper nutrients. I totally agree. Do you just use tap water in your hydrogen unit? No. Brother, it's a little confusing. I thought you I'm a little confused now. I thought that you watched my channel and you know that I definitely use um, carbon distilled, extremely clean water. That's what I use. Then I put hydrogen in it. Definitely not tap water. You nuts? No, definitely not tap water. Do you have any idea what's in tap water? It's insane. There's no, at least in my opinion, it's insane. I mean, thank goodness I have decent source water, but even then, I'm not real fond of it. Now I'm confused why you're asking me that question. I am like the water guy. Would the water guy actually use tap water? That's really? Do you just use tap water in your hydrogen unit? No. I clean my water to the highest degree, which is carbon distillation. I have the proof of it. And I've done extensive research. No porous system can clean everything out of water. It's just not going to happen. And porous systems are carbon filters, reverse osmosis, those kind of things. Though I have them, because it's definitely better than nothing. The ones you got to be careful with are the fluoride filters, actually. But carbon distillation removes all fluoride. I mean, it removes a lot of things. Do you want to see how good it is? I'll just show you a quick example, but I got to roll. I'm late for work. So, like, for example, these are the numbers of what's in your water. And there's pages of this stuff. I got pages and pages, just one page. And you can see, like, for example, the PFAS is some of the most dangerous stuff. This stuff is so toxic to the body. And after carbon distillation, see, zeros. 0, 0, 0. That means it's removing everything. This is very, very impressive, extremely impressive. And you know what's more impressive is this is something even I learned. This is what I'm always learning. Obviously, biological contaminants, we're talking parasites, viruses, bacteria. No water filtration system gets rid of all of them, except for carbon distillation. And even radioactive contaminants. That is the one that really impressed me. Over 99% and 99.8%. That was extremely impressive that it can do that, because normal water filters are not going to do that. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the questions. I apologize that I got to go today. Like I said, kind of in a hurry. Hate being in a hurry, but got to do what we got to do. So